I've been betrayed before, you know what I'm saying, publicly, so I just want to make sure that y'all feel me and you understand where I'm coming from, right? Okay. With everything that I gave.
Ashanti stood before her fans, glowing, confident, and unapologetically vulnerable. She opened up about a side of her life that many didn't expect her to share so publicly. She admitted to being broken before, to facing betrayal that nearly crushed her spirit. These weren't just generic words. These were battle scars she had lived through, and her fans felt the weight of her truth. The audience hung on to every syllable as she explained how easy it would have been to give up, to let disappointment, lies, and broken promises define her story. But instead, Ashanti revealed that she chose not to surrender. She chose to rebuild, to stand tall, and most importantly, to give love a second chance. That decision, she said, was one of the most powerful ones she had ever made. For longtime fans who have followed her roller coaster journey, there was no mistaking who she was hinting at when she spoke. Everyone knew. She was talking about her husband, Nelly. The same man who was once a complicated figure in her past had become the partner she now proudly stood beside. It was a twist no one saw coming years ago, and yet, here it was, her testimony of transformation. Her words weren't just a love note to Nelly, they were a message to anyone struggling in relationships, business, or personal battles. She urged her fans not to give up. She reminded them that betrayal doesn't have to be the final chapter, that healing is possible, and that love, real love, can grow even after the deepest wounds. The crowd responded with cheers, some with tears, because Ashanti wasn't just performing a song. She was giving a sermon. She was reminding people that pain doesn't mean the end of the story. Instead, it can be the beginning of something far more beautiful. Her ability to connect her personal journey to the universal struggles of love and trust is exactly what makes her fans adore her. But here's where it gets even more dramatic. Fans instantly began decoding her words. Was this a subtle clap back to her past relationships? Was she shading the men who had betrayed her before? Or was this purely a celebration of the second chance she found with Nelly? Social media lit up with interpretations, each one adding another layer of intrigue. Nelly himself was spotted later in the crowd, looking both proud and humbled. Some fans said his eyes told the whole story. This wasn't just Ashanti performing. This was Ashanti reclaiming her narrative. The man she once walked away from had become the man she was now willing to call her forever. And he knew, just like the audience, that her words carried power. This moment marked a shift, not just for Ashanti, but for the way fans view celebrity relationships. In an era where breakups and scandals dominate headlines, Ashanti was offering something different, a story of reconciliation, perseverance, and unexpected joy. But make no mistake, her journey to this point wasn't easy. And the deeper we dive, the more you'll see just how high the stakes really were. Ashanti's revelation left fans buzzing, and social media was quick to erupt with theories, support, and of course, controversy. Clips of her speech were shared across Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, with fans quoting her line about betrayal and rebuilding. The comments section turned into a battleground between those who praised her vulnerability and those who questioned whether she was really as healed as she claimed. Some fans commented, "This is growth. Ashanti is showing us that pain doesn't define us. It refines us." Others, however, pointed out that her words sounded like she was reliving old wounds, hinting that perhaps scars from the past still ran deeper than she wanted to admit. That duality, hope and suspicion, made her confession even more compelling. And then came the inevitable, people connecting the dots back to her relationship with Nelly. Everyone remembers their dramatic breakup years ago. Rumors of infidelity, industry politics, and personal differences tore them apart, leaving fans convinced that the two would never reconcile. Yet here they are in 2025, not only together, but married, raising a child, and starring in a reality TV show that lets fans peek behind the curtain. For many, this was proof that Ashanti was right. Love can find its way back even after betrayal. But for others, it raised the question, if betrayal happened once, could it happen again? Was her message about second chances a heartfelt declaration or a quiet warning? To understand why this moment struck such a chord, we need to look at how Ashanti has always balanced her personal and professional lives. She's built a career on resilience. From label disputes to being underestimated in the industry, Ashanti has fought battles on every front. But her ability to keep pushing, to keep shining, has earned her respect far beyond the music charts. That's why fans believe her when she talks about surviving heartbreak. She's lived through storms before, and always found a way to rise. Still, the timing of her confession raised eyebrows. Coming at a point when she and Nelly are constantly in the spotlight thanks to their reality show, fans speculated whether this was raw truth or a carefully timed narrative designed to keep viewers invested. Was this Ashanti opening her heart, or was it smart branding to ensure ratings for We Belong Together? Nelly's reaction, though, told another story. Cameras caught him smiling and nodding while she spoke, but there was also a hint of unease, like he knew the ghosts of their past would always linger in conversations like these. Fans dissected his body language, claiming that even though Ashanti had forgiven him, he might never fully escape the shadow of his old mistakes. And then, of course, came the comparisons. Fans were quick to compare Ashanti's story to other celebrity couples who've tried, failed, or succeeded at second chances. From Beyoncé and Jay-Z to Cardi B and Offset, the narrative of betrayal followed by reconciliation is one the public can't seem to get enough of. But unlike those couples, Ashanti and Nelly's story feels more fragile, more human, because it's rooted not just in stardom, but in real pain. As the night went on, her words continued to ripple online. TikTok edits with sad music, Instagram reels with motivational captions, and Twitter threads debating the signs of true healing all kept the story alive. Ashanti wasn't just trending for her performance, she was trending for her honesty. And in today's celebrity culture, that honesty can be both a blessing and a curse. On Twitter, the comments were brutal. One fan wrote, "She can talk about forgiveness all she wants, but cheaters rarely change. Ashanti better keep her guard up." Another replied, "No, you don't understand. They're different now, they've matured. This is love that survived the test of time." The split was clear. Half of the audience celebrated them as the ultimate redemption story, while the other half remained convinced that history has a way of repeating itself. Nelly, of course, didn't stay silent. In interviews tied to their reality show, he doubled down on his love for Ashanti, often calling her his rock and his forever. But then there was that one clip, fans know exactly which one I'm talking about, where Nelly admitted, "I'm still learning how to be better. I ain't perfect, but I'm trying." To some, it sounded honest. To others, it sounded like a confession that he wasn't quite out of the woods yet. And let's be real, Nelly's reputation in the industry doesn't make this easy. For decades, he's been known as the charming rapper with a flashy lifestyle, surrounded by women, parties, and constant temptation. Even if he has changed, fans argue, could anyone truly walk away from that kind of environment unscathed? But then there's Ashanti, graceful, loyal, resilient. For her to stand by him again after years apart, fans believe there must be something real binding them together. They aren't just lovers, they're co-parents now, partners in business, and teammates in the grueling game of reality TV. Their shared responsibilities might be the glue keeping them intact. Still, as clips from We Belong Together continue to circulate, people can't help but notice the little cracks. Like the moment Ashanti teased Nelly about his old ways, and he laughed it off. Or the scene where Ashanti looked visibly annoyed as Nelly interrupted her during a heartfelt conversation. These aren't scripted storylines, they're glimpses of a real relationship that, despite the glamour, faces the same struggles as anyone else's. And that's exactly what keeps the audience hooked. Viewers aren't just watching a love story, they're watching a gamble. Can two people who've been through betrayal, heartbreak, and years apart truly build something unshakable? Or is this just a temporary reunion, fueled by nostalgia and business opportunities? Cat Williams even chimed in during a recent podcast saying, "Man, it's beautiful to see them together, but don't let Hollywood fool you. cameras don't save marriages, they break them. That single comment sent fans into another frenzy, sparking debates about whether Nelly and Ashanti's reality TV exposure was strengthening their bond or slowly pulling them apart. And then comes the biggest twist of all. Ashanti's message about not giving up on love was celebrated as empowering, but critics accused her of romanticizing struggle. They argued that by encouraging fans to stay positive and keep working on relationships, she might be sending the wrong signal, telling people to tolerate betrayal instead of walking away. That accusation created an entirely new controversy, with think pieces and YouTube breakdowns questioning whether Ashanti was uplifting her audience or unintentionally harming them. Now let's shift the spotlight back to Ashanti, the woman at the heart of this story. Because while Nelly's past mistakes dominate the headlines, Ashanti's resilience is what truly captivates the audience. When she spoke about being betrayed before and broken but not giving up on life, fans felt every word. It wasn't just a celebrity talking, it was a survivor sharing her truth. She explained that betrayal can cut deeper than anyone imagines. It's not just about losing trust, it's about losing faith in yourself. And yet, instead of closing her heart for good, Ashanti chose to rebuild. That decision alone makes her stand out in an industry where bitterness often overshadows hope. And if you've seen the clips of her glowing on stage, it's clear. This isn't the same Ashanti from the early 2000s. This is a woman who knows her worth, who commands her space, and who refuses to let the past dictate her future. That's why her fans, especially women who've lived through heartbreak, see her as more than a singer. They see her as an icon of second chances. On Twitter, the comments were brutal. One fan wrote, "She can talk about forgiveness all she wants, but cheaters rarely change. Ashanti better keep her guard up." Another replied, "No, you don't understand. They're different now. They've matured. This is love that survived the test of time." The split was clear. Half of the audience celebrated them as the ultimate redemption story, while the other half remained convinced that history has a way of repeating itself. Nelly, of course, didn't stay silent. In interviews tied to their reality show, he doubled down on his love for Ashanti, often calling her his rock and his forever. But then there was that one clip, fans know exactly which one I'm talking about, where Nelly admitted, "I'm still learning how to be better. I ain't perfect, but I'm trying." To some, it sounded honest. To others, it sounded like a confession that he wasn't quite out of the woods yet. But let's be honest, being an icon comes with pressure. Every smile she shares beside Nelly is dissected. Every statement about positivity is questioned. And every slip of emotion is magnified into tabloid headlines. For Ashanti, love isn't just personal, it's political. Her relationship has become a battleground where fans, critics, and gossip blogs fight to decide what it represents. And yet, despite the noise, Ashanti continues to drop little gems of wisdom. She recently said, "When you build something with someone, don't expect it to be perfect. Expect it to be worth it." That quote spread like wildfire across social media, with fans reposting it alongside clips of her and Nelly laughing together. To supporters, it was proof that Ashanti has unlocked the secret to lasting love. But of course, critics weren't buying it. One viral TikTok stitched her quote with footage of Nelly's past scandals, with the caption, "Sis, this ain't worth it." The video racked up millions of views, sparking yet another wave of arguments online. Meanwhile, inside the couple's reality show, fans got to see Ashanti's softer side. One touching moment showed her encouraging Nelly after a rough day, reminding him that his growth was part of their journey together. It was raw, unscripted, and powerful. Enough to make even skeptics pause and think, maybe this is real. Still, others worry that Ashanti's hopefulness could cost her. In Hollywood, love stories that seem too good to be true often crumble under the pressure of fame, money, and public scrutiny. Even supporters admit that watching her pour so much positivity into Nelly makes them nervous. What if he stumbles again? What if history repeats itself? And that's the ultimate cliffhanger. Will Ashanti's gamble on love truly pay off? Or will she become another cautionary tale of a star who gave too much? With every episode of We Belong Together and every public appearance, the answer feels like it's hanging by a thread, ready to swing in either direction. One thing is certain. Whether fans cheer or criticize, nobody can look away. Because Ashanti's story isn't just about romance. It's about faith, redemption, and the risk of believing in someone after you've already been broken. And that's the kind of drama reality TV lives for. As the curtains draw on this chapter, let's reflect on the bigger picture. Ashanti's journey isn't just a story of betrayal and love. It's a roadmap of survival, reinvention, and resilience. She stood in the fire, came out with scars, but chose not to let those scars define her. Instead, she turned them into symbols of strength, and that's why the world cannot stop watching her every move. But here's the haunting question. Has Ashanti given too much of herself to love again? Some fans fear she's walking into the same trap millions of women know too well, loving harder than the person they stand beside. That's where the debate gets heated. Because on one side, people see a queen finally being treated right. On the other, skeptics say she's setting herself up for heartbreak all over again. And then there's Nelly. He isn't just a background character in this saga. His every word, every smirk, every silence carries weight. When he calls Ashanti his wife in public, fans melt. When he slips into old habits, the alarms go off instantly. The public has given him a second chance, but second chances come with high expectations. The spotlight on him is brighter than ever, and one wrong move could send everything crashing down. Meanwhile, Ashanti's fan base remains divided. Some are rooting for her happiness at all costs, while others argue she deserves better. Social media has become a digital battleground with hashtags like Chuck Team Ashanti and Protect Ashanti, trending whenever something controversial happens in her relationship. It's no longer just about their love. It's about what their love represents to millions watching from the sidelines. But here's what makes this story so captivating. It's real. Unlike the scripted drama of Hollywood blockbusters, Ashanti and Nelly's saga unfolds in real time, with real emotions, real risks, and real consequences. That rawness is why fans are glued to every update. They're not just watching celebrities, they're watching a love story that could either inspire or devastate. And let's not forget, Ashanti herself dropped the ultimate message. Never give up, stay positive, keep building even when it hurts. For some, that's the motto of a hopeless romantic. For others, it's the battle cry of a warrior who refuses to be defeated. Either way, her words resonate because they speak to something we all crave. Hope that love, no matter how broken, can be healed. So, will this relationship last? Or is it only a matter of time before history repeats itself? That's the million-dollar question. And while nobody can predict the future, one thing is certain. Ashanti isn't afraid anymore. She knows the risks, she knows the pain, but she's still choosing love. And in a world full of cynicism, that alone makes her story unforgettable. As we close tonight's deep dive, remember this. Whether their love story ends in forever or flames out in scandal, Ashanti and Nelly will always have captured the world's attention like few couples can. And as long as the cameras keep rolling, the public will be here, waiting, watching, and debating every single twist and turn. But for now, I'll leave you with this cliffhanger. If you were in Ashanti's shoes, would you risk it all for love again, or would you walk away for good?